Well, hello, Quest. It's good to see you again. And this is our newsletter for this week. And so, just several things on my mind that I'd like to share with you. One is this Sunday, whether you come on Sunday here or you're online or you catch up at a later date, we are wrapping up our series that has been out of Matthew chapter 10. In Matthew chapter 10 is this very unique and very powerful chapter, one of the teaching sections that Matthew organizes in his gospel. The first one, teaching section, was what we call the Sermon on the Mount. That's in chapters 5, 6, and 7, right? And then after that, in his authority, Jesus demonstrates that in all sorts of miraculous things and interactions with people. And then he comes to chapter 10, and there's this teaching section that Jesus gives about going into the mission. And isn't that really what Jesus was doing from the very beginning? He said, I've come to introduce the kingdom of heaven. And so there is this introduction through him into this kingdom of heaven that he's developing. And now even inviting others to be in the ministry of the kingdom of heaven and beginning to announce that and share that with people. And so he says, hey, you guys, I have a compassion for people, and we need laborers to go into the harvest. I want you to pray for people to go in the harvest. And guess what, guys? It's you. I'm going to send you. But I want you to know as I send you that the mission isn't going to be easy. In fact, there are going to be lots of opposition, even persecution. You don't have to be afraid, but it is to divide that which is good from that which is not good. He is going to bring justice. He is going to bring holiness. He is going to bring his grace into the midst of that. And it's not going to be easy. But for those who persevere and enter into cooperation with the ministry, there is a reward. That's what we're going to talk about this week. And so I just want to say, as we wrap this up, I think this chapter is incredibly apropos for the day in which we live. Clearly, Judeo-Christianity, it meets with less and less favor in our culture. It is being pushed to the edges and maybe even pushed off the edge in a lot of people's lives. And yet we believe that it is the love and the grace and the power of God that is really the only thing that is going to change the human heart. You know, we keep trying to change the world with economics and with government and with all sorts of programs. Or even now, I think we seem to try to want to change the world with hatred and with power and with violence. And it's not going to work. The only thing that's really going to change the world is the human heart being changed. And the only thing that can change the human heart is the Spirit of God, the power of the gospel. And so that's what he's sending us into. And so there's this portion of him calling us to the lordship of Christ, to die to self and live to him so that we might have real life the way he designed it. And that he would send us into the ministry along with him. Okay? So we're wrapping that up this week. Just be prepared for that. Following that, obviously, we're almost on top of Easter. And for a lot of more liturgical churches, they would use a thing called Lent to prepare for Easter, to help people get to Easter with their hearts kind of already engaged. We don't do that very often in a very big way here at Quest, but we want people to be prepared. So I would encourage you to begin kind of wrestling through the issues. And really at the bottom of it all is the need to come to that day and understand the need for Jesus to be resurrected from the dead so that he defeats death for each one of us. And that his resurrection leads to our resurrection to eternal life. And so, and not only that, but it's a meaningful life, a powerful life, a purposeful life here and now that makes all the difference in how we live. So be preparing yourself for Easter because we live in an incredibly disruptive world. And with that as the backdrop, we're going to look at both Palm Sunday, but also at Easter itself, okay? Now, following that, we are going into a series, probably 12 weeks long, and we're going to look at the books of Ezra and Nehemiah in the Old Testament. Historical books of those people who are coming back after being exiled in Babylon. And as they came back, God was going to use several people, including Zerubbabel, Ezra, and Nehemiah, to rebuild what was going on. And so we want to see what was going on there. Why were they doing that? How did they do that? How does it relate to today, right? And we want to walk through that, and I think it'll be a lot of fun, to tell you the truth. And you can follow along, whether in your small group or individually, with this book. It's a study guide of Ezra and Nehemiah by a gal named Kathleen Nielsen. That is an excellent, excellent tool. So we'd encourage you, go to Crossway and get this, or we'll have a few here that we can sell you. But this will help you follow along and make it personal. Because you see, our job, our desire, is not simply to teach the Bible, though that's a lot of fun. But our job is to teach the Bible to you. And therefore, as we teach it, to apply it to our lives. Me too, right? I need to apply it. And so the application process is critically important. So not only is that our job is to help you apply it, but it's your responsibility to engage God's word, see what it has to say, trust it, obey it, and apply it to our lives. And I don't know if I've ever seen a time in the history of our country, maybe the history of the world right now, a better time that we need to step forward and apply God's word. Have it become preeminent in our lives, because it reveals the living God and the resurrected Christ around us. Okay? So that's where we're headed. There are lots of other things. We want to make sure you still know. We want you to be connected. We want to be sharing our faith. And we want to give ownership and leadership to people. That's our focus for this year. So we're going to use Ezra and Nehemiah to do that. All right? All right, you guys. Love you. I hope you're well. May God protect you in all of this. All right? Okay. Love you guys. We'll see you soon.